Hello and welcome to the teaser demo of the Gridview functionality that will be available in coming 3.9 release. One of the main challenges when teams around the world collaborate around terminology management is the way to edit terminology at the same time when many people are working in the same concepts or the terms. One other challenge is also when validators will validate terminology, and they need a simple and quick way to see all the relevant terminology and be able to, for instance, do some changes or change statuses and do these validations. That's everyday work that they do. We noticed all these works, all these things that were happening, and we decided to create a function that will match these tasks. So this function, we call it Gridview. Actually, it's the grid where it's a new way of working. And let me just show you a couple of things that we can do in the grid. So I'm logging in. Let's say that I'm a validator. By default, I can get this filter that filters out the terminology and shows only the terms that have a specific status. In our case, as we see here, the to be verified terms. And in the list, I see that we have 8 or 9 of them. Now, by clicking on this icon at the bottom, I open the grid view, which basically is a way to present these terms in an Excel-like environment. I will just make it a bit larger so you can see. Now you see all this information. In this grid view, we are also able to apply views in order to hide fields or languages or terms or information that is not relevant for me. But in our case, we didn't apply any view, so we see all information under the relevant concepts and terms. As you can see here, I can scroll. I see the English terms, I see the term relating fields, the synonyms, and so on and so on. Now, this grid view allows me to do a number of things. One is that I can order the results based on any of these fields. For instance, let's say that I can order on the concept ID field. As you can see here, my all results are, or all the terms and concepts are ordered based on that field. Or, for instance, let's say that I go to the acceptability field. I can press here, and now all my results or all my terms are ordered based on this field values, which of course is something that is very helpful when I want to see the information presented to me the way I need. At the same time, I can also edit, or many users can edit this information by simply clicking on the different field values. So for instance, if I want to edit the definition, I can just click like this, and I can just enter the text of my need that I need to edit. Or I can, for instance, select the different sections from the section list. Or I can edit my source fields, or I can, well, change the verified, for instance, fields to and give another value, as you can see here, for instance. So what happens is that every time I click to edit a specific field, it recognizes what kind of field it is, and I get the proper component. So if it's a text field, you will get the text editing component. If it's a multi-value field or a drop-down list, it will recognize it, and it will provide you with that option. So in this way, many different users or many different people that have editing permissions are able to just, in an Excel-like environment, very quickly edit the parts that they want, and then they can save. Of course, everything again is saved in the history. All these undo functions that you recognize from the TermWeb functionality is still there. So there is always this control functionality and so on. that is very, of course, valuable, very much valuable for validators, for instance, is the choice where you can, or the functionality where you can select many terms and apply specific edits. For instance, let's say that I am a validator and I just want to mark that these terms I have checked, all this information here is, for instance, correct. What I do is I mark. I can, of course, mark every with one click, or I can just mark selected ones, as I can do here. And then with selected, as you can see here, I can set, for instance, for the English first, because we could have synonyms and so on. Let's say for this English first field, I select a specific the acceptability field, which is actually the one that I care about in this situation. And I can select a value. Let's say that, okay, this seemed to be correct. So that's the only thing I need to do. I press update. You can see that I updated 4 concepts. And now if I just scroll a bit, in our case, because we don't have a view, we have to scroll a bit. But in normal situations, I would just see a very minimum view of my terms here, only the relevant fields. As you can see here now, I've changed all this information. So I've changed the acceptability for these terms, the status from it was to be verified to correct. Then I just save, and this is it. If I have workflows and other tasks that trigger on this, this task will automatically trigger. And for instance, it could inform other people that now I have validated these terms, and please do something, what you are supposed to do. The cool thing here is also that in the grid, we are not just limited to the acceptability field, as you can see. So I can actually have access to much more functionalities. For instance, for these selected fields, I can do edit again. I can select if it's a concept level field. I can also, for instance, say that my source field, which is a text field, select that and add a certain value. So what this does, what this means is that not just for a field like acceptability, I have this function. This function is available and allow us to do much more. This function is also allows us to change certain values. For instance, you could do a search where you select all definitions that have a certain keyword, see the terms in the grid, and then just by this functionality where you select this specific field, you can change this text to something else. So basically what we are also doing is a search and replace function at the same time. So this grid functionality is a very powerful one because it gives the simplicity, if you will, of the Excel file where you can order the results as you want. You can change, select and replace as you wish very quickly. You can validate terms and you can do mass changes at the same time. But it is also connected to the all other TermWeb functionality. So every time you do an edit or you do a change or anything like that, it is traceable because everything is in the history. And it's also in the workflows, connected to the workflows. So you can just work and automate flows just as you've been doing by using TermWeb before. So all this is a integrated part of the TermWeb functionality. As you can see, this saves a lot of time for validators, for collaborating around terminology, and for making changes in many terms at the same time. We are also testing the system, so it should be there should be no problems for having thousands of terms and thousands of concepts open in the grid view if we so wish. So it is made to work with a lot of content at the same time, and with a lot of different users and different user groups with their own permissions, with their own views, working at the same place. So this is the grid view. I hope you enjoy it, and it will be out soon. Look out for it in the 3.9 coming out soon. Thank you.